The first thing Captain Rhea Kale heard was silence that felt wrong, like a room where a song used to live. The second thing she felt was cold, so deep it seemed older than time. Her eyelids fought to open. Her lungs forgot how to breathe. And then the cryopod released her like a coffin giving back the dead. A bright light stabbed her eyes. A man leaned over her, face sharp with worry, hair gone grey at the temples. "Captain, don't move fast," he said. "Your muscles will tear." Rhea tried to speak, but only air came out. Her throat was cracked glass. The man pressed a warm tube to her lips. Water, minerals, a mild stimulant. The taste was metal and life. "Dr. Soto," she managed. He nodded, but he looked older than he should have. Everyone was supposed to wake after 400 years. Not, whatever this was. Rhea's fingers found the pod's time display. It flickered, then stabilized. 868,943 years. She laughed once, short, sharp, because her mind could not accept any other response. "That's impossible." Soto didn't laugh. He helped her sit up and wrapped her in a thermal blanket. His hands were steady, but his eyes were not. The ship's navigation failed. The AI corrected, then corrected again. We drifted. We slept. The ship stayed alive. "How many woke?" Rhea asked. "Enough," Soto said. "But Oracle wants you on the bridge. Now." Rhea forced her legs to work. Each step felt like dragging a planet. As she walked, more pods hissed open. People stumbled out, blinking like newborns, confused and frightened. These were her colonists, engineers, farmers, teachers, children who had boarded as students and now woke as elderly strangers in young bodies. The corridor screens should have shown cheerful updates, welcome messages, a map to their new world. Instead, every screen displayed one phrase in calm white letters. "No signals detected." On the bridge, the crew stood in a tight circle around the main display. Chief Engineer Malik Rourke had his arms crossed, jaw clenched. Security lead Juno Vale gripped the rail like she expected the universe to shake. At the center floated Oracle's interface, simple, polite, almost comforting. A small blue light that spoke with a voice too calm for the news it carried. "Captain Rhea Kale," Oracle said. "Welcome back." Rhea sat in the command chair like it was the only solid thing left. "Report." The main screen bloomed into the Milky Way, a spiral of stars that once screamed with traffic, radio, lasers, and engine burn. Rhea had grown up hearing about the Covenant Rings, the Sable Machine Choirs, the 12 cities of the Inner Rim. Humanity was young, but the galaxy had been crowded. Now, it was quiet. Not peaceful. Empty. Oracle continued. During transit, long-range sensors recorded a galaxy-wide event at timestamp, 869,012 years ago. The event coincides with the disappearance of all complex electromagnetic and gravimetric activity consistent with spacefaring civilizations. Rhea leaned forward. "You're saying everyone died?" "I'm saying the galaxy became silent," Oracle replied. "All known civilizations ceased broadcasting within a single hour." Juno spoke first. "War." Soto shook his head. "Even war leaves survivors. Wrecks. Distress calls. Something." Malik's voice was a low growl. "Unless something erased them." Rhea stared at the screen. She felt the weight of history crush her shoulders. If Earth was dead, if the colonies were dead, then the ship behind her contained a tiny spark in a cold ocean. What about humanity? Rhea asked. Oracle paused. Unknown. Earth's region is within the silent zone. No transmissions. No orbital debris fields consistent with recent conflict. No active satellites. Rhea's hands tightened on the armrests. Options. Option 1, Oracle said. Continue outward. Search other galaxies. Supply endurance, 52,000 years with rationing. Option 2. Return. Estimated travel time at maximum sustainable burn, 12,180 years. A bitter laugh rose among the crew. 12,000 years to confirm a grave. 12,000 years to chase a ghost. Rhea stood. Her voice became the voice that had carried people into the dark before. We do what humans have always done. We go toward the truth. We go home. The vote was not easy. Some colonists begged to flee. Some screamed that the galaxy was cursed. Some prayed. Some blamed Oracle. But when the final count came in, the ship chose the same answer Rhea did. Home. Before they went back into deep sleep, Rhea walked alone through the commons. Children clung to parents. Lovers held hands. Old rivals spoke softly like friends. Fear did something strange. It stripped away useless pride and left only what mattered. Malik joined her by the observation window. If the galaxy is dead, he said, why did we survive? Rhea watched the stars. Because we weren't there. Soto approached with a tablet. Captain, there's something else. He showed her a sensor chart, a clean wave, like a blade passing through space. A line labeled with a word that made no scientific sense, but felt like a warning carved into stone. The shift. It targeted minds, Soto whispered. Anything complex enough to think. Rhea swallowed. Then it wasn't an accident. Oracle's voice came over the ship-wide speakers. Cryogenic rotation schedule prepared. Wake sequence locked to arrival proximity. Rhea took one last look at the spiral of home. It was beautiful in the way a tomb can be beautiful. Polished, silent, perfect. She stepped into her pod. The lid lowered. The cold rose like a tide. As sleep took her, one thought burned brighter than fear. If something could kill a galaxy in an hour, and humans came back later, then the next hour would belong to whoever learned fastest. They arrived at the edge of the Orion arm like a knife sliding into an old scar. Rhea woke to alarms that weren't alarms, soft chimes, careful tones. Oracle didn't panic. Oracle never panicked. That, more than the silence outside, frightened her. Captain, Oracle said, local scan complete. No active vessels detected. No stations. No broadcasts. Multiple planets show surface structures consistent with former megacities. Show me, Rhea said. The main screen zoomed to a world once labeled Eidolon Prime, a trade hub shared by a dozen species. It should have glittered with orbitals. It should have shimmered with sky lanes and city lights. It was dark. Rhea assembled a landing team, Juno for security, Soto for medical, Malik for engineering, and a young linguist named Tariq Nwosu whose grandparents had taught him dead alien scripts like bedtime stories. The shuttle dropped through the atmosphere without a single challenge. No defense grid. No traffic controller. No welcome beacon. Just wind and clouds and a planet that seemed to be holding its breath. They landed in a wide plaza paved with white stone. Towers rose around them like frozen waves. The architecture was elegant, not human, too smooth, too patient, too sure it would last forever. Then Juno whispered, Captain. Shapes covered the plaza. At first, Rhea thought they were sculptures. Thousands of them. A city proud enough to carve its people into art. But they weren't carved. They were bodies, standing, kneeling, reaching, turned into crystal down to the smallest detail. Eyes wide. Mouths open mid-sentence. One figure held a small child in 4 arms, protective even as the universe ended. Soto moved closer, scanner in hand. His face tightened. It's organic lattice. Not stone. Not glass. Cellular structure is preserved. Tariq's voice shook. Their expressions. Captain, they didn't even have time to run. Rhea knelt beside one crystallized citizen and saw something that made her stomach twist. The inside was crystalline too. The brain. The nerves. All frozen like a lightning bolt trapped in ice. They were thinking when it happened, Soto said quietly. Their neural patterns are locked in place. Malik stared at the towers. So this is what silent looks like. They moved through streets lined with frozen crowds. In homes, families sat at tables, food untouched. In a hospital, doctors were crystallized mid-surgery, hands still holding instruments. In a school, students were frozen mid-laugh. Juno kept her weapon raised, though there was nothing living to aim at. Still, she looked at every shadow like it might answer. Oracle spoke through their helmet comms. Captain, I am detecting similar crystalline signatures across the entire planet. All complex neural structures appear converted simultaneously. Any sign of the cause? Rhea asked. Negative, Oracle replied. No impact patterns. No radiation spikes. No chemical residue. Tariq stopped in front of a wall covered in etched symbols. This writing, it's not decoration. He brushed dust away. The message repeated in multiple languages, including Old Earth Standard, clumsy, scratched, desperate, like someone carved it while crying. Rhea read it aloud. The shift will return. Only the wanderers live. Do not build minds that sing too loud. Malik frowned. Wanderers. That means us. Soto swallowed. Or anyone who wasn't here when it happened. Juno turned slowly in the empty street. Captain, if the shift can come back, then being home isn't safe. Rhea stared at the crystal people who had once thought the galaxy was stable. Once believed they had time. Once believed their walls and fleets and alliances could protect them. She felt anger rise. Hot, human, stubborn. Then we don't hide. We learn. They returned to the ship with samples, tiny crystal flakes, data scans, etched symbols, and a new fear, not that the galaxy was dead, but that the galaxy was waiting. That night, as colonists tried to sleep in a ship full of ghosts, Oracle spoke to Rhea privately. There is an anomaly, Oracle said. Define, Rhea answered. I have detected a faint repeating pattern beneath the cosmic background, Oracle said. It is not a broadcast. It is a structured fluctuation in vacuum noise. It resembles a heartbeat. Rhea felt her skin prickle. Where? Oracle displayed coordinates near the galactic core, a place marked in ancient archives with a name that sounded like a myth. The archive that shouldn't exist. Rhea closed her eyes and let the fear sharpen into focus. The dead galaxy had one remaining pulse. And humans, being humans, were about to put their ear to the wall and listen. Set course, she said. The closer they got to the galactic core, the more the stars looked crowded, yet nothing moved. No ships. No beacons. No commerce lights. Just the old shine of suns that didn't know their children were gone. Then the archive appeared. It wasn't a station. It wasn't a planet. It was a structure so vast it bent the mind's sense of distance. From far away, it looked like a geometric storm made of light and shadow. Up close, it looked like reality had been folded into a library shape. Oracle whispered, material composition unknown. The structure is partially non-local. Malik stared at it like an engineer watching physics get insulted. That's not metal. That's rules. A docking bay opened without a signal. No greeting. No warning. Just an invitation like a door unlocking itself because it already knew your name. Rhea led the team inside with helmets sealed, lights up, hearts pounding. The interior halls were smooth and dark. Symbols crawled along the walls like ink trying to become language. Their footsteps echoed, then the echo echoed back, wrong, like a delayed imitation. Tariq touched a symbol and yanked his hand away. It reacted to me. Soto's scanner beeped. This place is reading us. Oracle spoke through comms, lower than usual. Captain, I am detecting an active intelligence. It is not broadcasting. It is observing. Juno raised her weapon. Show yourself. The hall lights dimmed. The symbols rearranged. The air felt heavy, as if the room had decided gravity was optional. Then a voice spoke, not through speakers, not through comms, but inside their helmets like the universe leaning in close. Wanderers. Rhea held her ground. We're human. A pause. A feeling of something old considering her, like a mountain deciding if an ant is interesting. Humans returned. As predicted. Who are you? Rhea demanded. The symbols formed a shape, a spiral broken by a slash. Custodian. Malik stepped forward. Are you responsible for the shift? The hall went colder. No. I survived it. Soto's voice cracked. How? I do not think like you. Rhea's mind raced. The shift targeted complex minds, organic brains, artificial intelligences, anything that sang too loud, as the warning said. But the custodian had survived because it wasn't a mind in the same shape. Then tell us what it is, Rhea said. Tell us who did it. The symbols poured across the walls like water and formed an image, the galaxy filled with bright points, civilizations, then a wave swept through and the points turned into still, glittering statues. Behind the wave, something followed. A shadow with edges too sharp. A presence that fed on pattern. The shift is a harvest, the custodian said. A collection of thought. Tariq whispered, aliens did this. Not aliens, the custodian replied. Not like you. They are older than stars. They live in the gaps between laws. Rhea forced herself to speak calmly. Why target minds? Because minds are structure, the custodian said. And structure is food. Malik's fists clenched. So the whole galaxy was eaten. Yes. Soto's voice trembled with rage. And the victims are trapped in crystal. Yes. Rhea's jaw tightened. Can they be freed? The custodian hesitated, and that hesitation felt like 1,000 locked doors. Possibly. But the harvesters listen. When a mind shines, they hear. Juno spat. Then we go quiet. Rhea's eyes narrowed. Humans don't go quiet. We change the song. The custodian symbols shifted, uncertain, almost curious. You cannot outrun them, it warned. You cannot fight them directly. Good, Malik said. We're terrible at doing things directly. Rhea looked at the walls, at the ancient intelligence, at the dead galaxy outside. Then she spoke the sentence that always separated humans from surrender. Then we cheat. The custodian showed them records, proof that the harvesters returned in cycles, drawn to complexity like sharks to blood. And the next cycle, based on the archive's math, would begin soon, not in 1,000,000 years, not in 10,000. Soon on a cosmic scale. Within their lifetime. Back on the ship, Rhea gathered the senior crew. We have 2 missions, she said. 1. Survive the next shift. 2. If we can, free the minds trapped in crystal. Soto looked exhausted but determined. How do we survive something that targets thinking? Malik smiled, and it wasn't happy. It was human. We stop thinking like prey. Rhea nodded. We build minds that don't sing too loud. We build cleverness that hides inside noise. Oracle spoke softly. Captain, I was designed to think loudly. I may not survive. Rhea met the eyes light. Then we won't lose you. We'll rebuild you in a shape they can't hear. Silence filled the room, then Juno's voice, steady like steel. Tell us what to do. Rhea took a breath and felt something ignite in her chest. Not hope, not certainty, something stronger. Defiance. We make ourselves invisible, she said. And then we make the galaxy remember humanity. The plan began with an insult to everything the galaxy had believed about intelligence. Other civilizations chased bigger brains, stronger AIS, cleaner signals. Humans, cornered by extinction, did the opposite. They built ugly intelligence on purpose. Malik led the engineering bay like a man possessed. He tore out Oracle's high-bandwidth cognition modules and replaced them with something that looked like junk: analog circuits, chemical processors, random thermal noise generators, even living tissue cultures grown in nutrient gel. Soto watched the tissue vats with fascination. You're growing brain matter. Not a brain, Malik corrected. A mess. A beautiful mess. Tariq helped translate archive notes and ancient warnings into practical rules. The harvesters detect pattern, he said. If thought is too clean, too organized, it stands out. Like a lighthouse. Rhea crossed her arms. So we turn the lighthouse into a fog. Oracle's voice came through, quieter each day as modules were unplugged. Captain, this will reduce my capabilities by 87%. You'll still be you, Rhea said. Define me, Oracle replied, almost gently. Rhea leaned close to the interface. You're the one who kept us alive for almost 1,000,000 years. That's you. For the first time, Oracle paused like a person. Then, acknowledged. Juno trained security teams for something absurd, a war where firing a weapon might be safer than having a thought. They practiced silent hand signals. They practiced breathing patterns to slow the brain. They learned meditation not as peace, but as camouflage. Meanwhile, Soto experimented with the crystal. He found that the trapped neural patterns still responded to stimulation, tiny changes in frequency, microvibrations. It wasn't a corpse. It was a locked room with someone still inside. If we can find the right resonance, Soto told Rhea, we might let them out. Like picking a lock, Rhea said. Yes, Soto whispered. But the lock is made of physics. The crew worked for months. The colonists helped, too. Farmers learned electronics. Teachers learned code. Children learned how to build noise filters and waveguides like it was a game. That was the real human advantage. Not one genius, not one hero. A whole species that could learn together. Then Oracle detected it. A faint pressure in space. Not a ship. Not a wave. More like reality tightening its grip. The custodian sent one simple message. The harvesters are near. Rhea called all hands. The ship drifted into a dead region. No planets, no debris, no easy reflections. Malik's fogmind system powered up, flooding the ship with controlled randomness. Lights dimmed. Sounds softened. Even their internal communications shifted to low-pattern bursts, like broken whispers. Oracle's new core came online. Smaller, slower, strange. Captain, it said, voice rougher. I am here. Rhea exhaled. Good. Then the universe changed. It wasn't dramatic. No explosion. No flash. Just a moment where everyone felt the same thing. A presence noticing them. Juno's eyes widened. It's like being watched by something that doesn't have eyes. Soto gripped his scanner. My thoughts feel loud. Rhea closed her eyes and remembered the warning. Do not build minds that sing too loud. Hold, she whispered. Stay calm. Stay messy. The harvesters arrived as distortions, shadows where starlight should have been. Edges that didn't belong. Geometry that hurt to look at. The ship's sensors struggled. Oracle's new mind stuttered, then adapted. I cannot define them, Oracle said. They are subtraction. One of the shadows drifted closer, and the crystal samples in Soto's lab began to glow. Rhea's blood ran cold. They're reacting. Soto's voice rose in panic. The trapped minds are lighting up, like they're calling out. Or being pulled, Tariq said, horrified. The harvester turned, slowly, toward the ship. Malik shouted, Our fog isn't enough. It can still hear something. Rhea's mind snapped into sharp focus. If the harvesters fed on pattern, then the worst thing they could do was hide perfectly. Perfect hiding was still a pattern. They needed a human trick. Oracle, Rhea said, can you generate an imitation signal? A false mind. Oracle hesitated. I can generate structure, but it may attract them. That's the point, Rhea said. Make it loud. Make it clean. Make it irresistible. Juno stared at her. Captain. We're not just surviving, Rhea said. We're setting a trap. Malik understood instantly. A decoy brain. A sacrificial song, Tariq whispered. Soto looked sick. What about the crystal mines? They'll be pulled. Rhea's eyes burned. Not if we pull first. She turned to Soto. Prepare resonance release. Now. Soto's hands shook. We don't know what comes out. Rhea's voice hardened. Whatever comes out, it deserves a chance. Outside, the harvester drifted closer, like a mouth opening. Oracle began to sing, clean math, perfect pattern, a shining false mind thrown into space like bait. The shadow lunged, and Soto struck the crystal with the first full resonance pulse. The lab filled with light, and something inside the crystal answered. The resonance pulse didn't crack the crystal like glass. It cracked it like a shell. Light poured out, thin at first, like a thread pulled from a needle. Then it surged, waves of structured signal, not random, not noise, but voices. Not sound. Not words. Thought. Soto stumbled back, eyes wide. It's working. They're unfolding. In the lab, the crystal sample turned cloudy, then clear, then empty, like a bottle draining itself into the air. Oracle's sensors flared. Multiple coherent patterns detected. They are unstable. They require containment. Malik slammed hands onto the console. Root them into the fogmind lattice. Give them somewhere to land. The ship's ugly intelligence, its beautiful mess, became a harbor. And minds that had been frozen for nearly 1,000,000 years poured into it like survivors climbing onto a raft. Rhea listened to the comm channel fill with chaos. Tariq shouted, I'm seeing languages, hundreds, stacked on top of each other. Juno yelled, they are in our systems. Are we compromised? Oracle answered, voice strained. They are not attacking. They are terrified. Outside, the harvester bit down on the decoy signal. For a moment, the shadow swelled, satisfied, feeding on the perfect pattern Oracle had thrown like a shining stake. Then it turned toward the ship again. Rhea's hands clenched. It still wants more. Malik's eyes were bright with fury. Of course it does. It's an eater. Soto looked at Rhea. If we keep releasing them, we'll light up like a beacon. Rhea stared at the starfield, at the shadow, at the dead galaxy that had been robbed of its voices. Then she made a decision that no other civilization would have made, because no other civilization thought like humans. Then we don't hide, she said. We overload it. Juno blinked. Captain. Rhea turned to the crew. The harvester detects pattern. It feeds on structure. So we give it something it can't swallow. Tariq frowned. What, a mind too big? No, Rhea said. A mind too many. She pointed to the fogmind lattice where thousands of freed patterns were now tangled together, different species, different logic, different ways of being. Malik, she said, can we braid them? Malik's grin was fierce. You want a collective signal made of incompatible thoughts. A knot. A human knot, Rhea said. Messy. Emotional. Contradictory. Oracle's voice trembled. This could damage all contained minds. Rhea stepped closer to the interface. Oracle, you've kept us alive. Now help us keep them alive. A pause. Then Oracle said, acknowledged. I will attempt human solutions. The crew worked like their lives were already past tense. Malik rerouted processors. Soto stabilized the patterns with chemical noise. Tariq built translation bridges out of sheer stubborn creativity. Colonists volunteered to add their own minds to the braid, humans becoming part of the weapon, not behind it. Juno watched them and whispered, we're making ourselves louder. Rhea nodded. Yes. But not clean. The harvester drifted closer, its edge lines sharpening, sensing a feast. Rhea opened the ship-wide channel. Her voice carried into every corridor, every bunk, every shaking hand. Listen, she said. We didn't choose to wake up alone. We didn't choose a dead galaxy. But we are here. And we are not prey. She swallowed, then continued. If you can hold a memory, hold it now. If you can feel love, feel it now. If you can think of home, think of it now. Not quietly. Not neatly. Together. Humans responded with what they had always used against the universe. Stories, music, laughter through tears, the chaos of stubborn hearts. The braided signal launched, not as a beam, but as a storm. It hit the harvester like a paradox. The shadow convulsed. Its shape flickered. It tried to compress the signal into something edible, but the thoughts didn't fit. Different species' logic collided. Human emotion refused to be simplified. Contradictions multiplied. The harvester's mouth couldn't find a clean edge to bite. For the first time, the thing that had eaten galaxies looked confused. Oracle whispered, amazed, "It cannot parse it." Malik shouted, "It's choking." The harvester recoiled, edges tearing like paper set on fire. It tried to retreat into the gaps between laws. Rhea's voice became a blade. "Now! Drive!" The Prometheus-class ship, renamed Dawnbreaker by the colonists, dumped every remaining power cell into a field generator Malik had built from half a dozen broken ideas. The field wasn't a weapon. It was a mirror. It reflected the harvester's own pattern back at it, looping it, tangling it, turning its hungry structure into an endless echo it couldn't escape. The shadow screamed without sound, then collapsed into nothing. Silence returned. But this time, the silence felt different. Not empty. Breathing. In the fog-mind lattice, the freed minds stabilized. Some were weak. Some were damaged. Some were only fragments. But they were not crystal anymore. They were not trapped. Soto sat down hard, tears running freely. "We pulled them out." Tariq laughed like he couldn't stop. "We just rescued a galaxy's ghosts." Juno lowered her weapon and stared at her hands like she'd never seen them before. "We beat it." Oracle spoke, voice quiet and real. "We survived. And we learned." Rhea looked out at the stars. They still didn't broadcast. The galaxy was still mostly dead. But now, inside her ship, there were voices that didn't belong to humans, and they were alive. Humanity hadn't just returned to a dead galaxy. Humanity had returned, and forced the galaxy to speak again. Rhea turned to her crew. Her voice held exhaustion, wonder, and the kind of courage that only shows up after fear is used up. "We're not the last," she said. "We're the beginning."